Hey guys, it's Tanya from My Fancy Design Shop, and today I'm going to go over my watercolor stamp brush set for Procreate. Now this set comes with 45 brushes and a paper texture, and the main thing, the difference between this set versus my watercolor lettering set is this is mainly made up of stamp brushes. So you won't be able to do the lettering. That's what my other set is for. This one's mainly for to stamp the watercolor shapes on. So I have 6 different types of watercolor washes that you can do, and this is mainly to out of convenience to get that watercolor background look without having to do it every time. So you would just stamp it on and then add your color and blend the colors, and then you would do your lettering on top, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then so you have 6 of them with different compositions. And then I included my dark edge blender, my highlight blender, and texture stamp just to add a little bit. It's an optional step for the other shapes, and I'll show you that in a little bit as well. But then you have a bunch of shapes. I believe there's 18 of them in octagon, hexagon, diamond, square, triangle, circle, heart, star, and then some other fun shapes like snowflakes, a snowman, butterfly, popsicle, pumpkin, and a few leaves. Then what you have is what I call my magic brushes. So these are the same shapes as the ones I just showed you, except now they change in color. So say I grab, let me get one of my pastel palettes. Now, if I grab one of the magic brushes, say I'll do the heart, let's bump it up a little, it will automatically change color, which is super fun. So these are also good for doing maybe outlines, do circles, and you could do lettering inside. Even if you just lift up your pencil, let's see, let's clear that, you can just stamp them on and it changes color still. Next, I'm just going to show you, so that's all of them. All of these 18 stamps that you saw in the previous one will come in a color changing version as well. Now I'm going to show you how I blend them. Now the washes are a little bit different than the shapes, only because with the shapes you do an extra step. So say I wanted to, we'll do this one right here. I like to start out with black. You grab your watercolor wash stamp and you just stamp it on. Now you can change the size with the setting over here, the brush size, or you can just stamp it on, hit the arrow, and just scale it up. And I always make sure that the settings down here is on uniform and magnetic, just so the form or the shape with the height and width stays the same. So you just get the size that you want. Then what you want to do is you click on it and you're going to add alpha lock. Next, you're going to grab one of your brushes. I like to stick with the monoline brush. I know there's a default stock brush in Procreate that you can use. It's just easier, and I'll bump up the size of it. And I'll grab a few colors. So let's just grab pink, and we'll do a blue, and let's add a purple. So I added my color, and because you have the alpha lock on, you're only coloring on your stamp. Keep it on, because now what you're going to do is you're going to blend the colors together. And this is the easiest way, is to go up to the adjustments setting, which is the magic wand, click on Gaussian blur, and you're going to just move your Apple Pencil or your finger to the right, and you'll see it blend. So we're starting from here, and then you're slowly moving it. So you just want to, I think I'm going to stop around 60%. So you just stop where you see the effect that you want, how blended you want. Now to take it a step further, sometimes I might want to change the color. Instead of having to redo all these steps, what you can do is go back to adjustments, go to hue, saturation, brightness, and at the very bottom, you're gonna see hue, saturation, brightness, and this is where you can play around with the colors of how you want it. And I think I'm just gonna stick to the same color, but I sometimes will bump up the saturation, and you can even change the brightness and stuff. So I'm just gonna maybe bring it down a little bit and make it a little bit darker. Okay, next that you wanna do is after you get your wash and your color, you can now add your lettering on top. So you wanna open your layers menu, add a layer, grab a color, which I'm just gonna stick with white, and I'm gonna grab one of my brushes. Okay, so now you have your watercolor wash as the background, you have your lettering on top, and now what you can do is add your paper texture. In this brush set, I did give you a JPEG of my watercolor paper texture, so you just would want to import it. If you go up to the actions and insert a photo, it should be from your camera roll. And then what you want to do is add it on your very top layer, hit the setting, which is the little n, and you want to change it to multiply. And you'll see now that that paper texture pops through all of your other layers. And because I feel sometimes this texture can be a little bit too strong, I will bump down the opacity just a little bit. So you still get that texture, but not as strong. And that's how you use all the watercolor washes in my set. Now the same thing you can do with the stamps. So let's just combine that to be easy. We'll take off the water paper texture and let's choose one of the stamps. To be easy, let's do the heart. Okay. We'll grab our color black again. We'll stamp it on, and with these stamps, you'll see that you have that rough outline as if it was watercolor. You'll have the stains inside already. So all you really need to do is stamp it. You want to alpha lock it, add your color, and we'll blur it. And now another extra step that you can take, it's absolutely optional, you don't have to because you do have a bit of that dark edge, but if you wanted to add more to it, you can add a layer on top. You want to choose clipping mask, change the layer setting to overlay, grab your color black, and then what you want to do is grab that dark blender brush, and you just want to slowly go on the edge of your shape. Next, what I'll do is I will actually click on the little pointer tool up here, which is the smudger, grab that dark edge blender again, and I'll just slowly kind of blend in the edges. And sometimes I'll go back to my blender again and just add a little bit more. This is just a way for me to blend it a little bit more smoothly so it's not as harsh. Okay, next what I'll do is I will actually combine these two layers together to make it easy. And then I'm going to add another clipping mask on top, and I'll choose my color white and my highlight blender, and this is where I can add maybe a little bit more highlights to it. And the great thing about clipping masks is that no matter where you're writing on this layer, it's only going to show on the bottom layer, which is the heart. And then another great thing is that if you just don't like it, you can just delete it. You don't have to start over. And I think with this one, I might just actually add a little bit of a blur to make it more blended. There we go. So now you can see without the highlight and with the highlight. Next, what you can do, so I'm gonna add that because I'm gonna merge those two layers because I do like the highlight with it. I'm gonna add another clipping mask. I'm gonna change that setting to overlay, grab my color black, and this is also optional, but you can grab the texture stamp and you can add more texture to this. So you see how it's kind of darkening it a little bit, but it's giving that extra texture. And you just want to stamp it on. You don't want to color it in. So you see it without and with the texture. Next, you want to do the same thing with the watercolor paper texture on the very top. You're going to add it to multiply, and then you'll even see even more of it pop through. And that's how you use the shape stamps. Okay, we'll save that because I do have another tip on what you can do about cutouts with these stamps. But now I'm going to just show you, I'm going to grab a different color, let's stick with purple, my magic stamps. So with these, they'll change colors. So we have circles, you can change the sizes, I'll show you the butterflies, which is fun. The leaves, I think it's super fun as well. So this is good if you wanted to maybe add it to like an imitation. You can use this as like a border. Like that. And you could do one on the bottom, and then you can have your lettering in the middle. Another option, which I think is super fun, when I was just playing around with this, I kind of held my pencil on for too long and it got a really cool effect. So I was trying to make a circle, and if you keep your pencil on the screen as you do the quick shape of a circle, you can actually bring it in and out. So you can actually get this fun overlay look. Let me bring that up. And it's just kind of like a fun thing, fun little effect. So you can play around with that as well. Let's see, the circles were kind of fun to do that. So I'll get a circle, I'll get that quick shape going, and then you can see how you can spread it out farther, bigger, get them to overlap so you get a fun overlap look. And those are the magic brushes. Now, I want to show you how to do cutouts with these shapes. So what you can do is you can actually do all the color and the edging first. And if you've seen on social media or even art in the stores and stuff, you might see like a watercolor shape with a cutout in the middle, and they'll have lettering. So the best way to do that is you can do your stamp, add your color, your dark edges and all that stuff. And then what you want to do is on a layer above it, I like to just choose black because it's easier. Grab one of your monoline brushes or something, and you can either draw, say we want to cut out like a rectangle. You can either draw a rectangle and color it in the middle, or what I've done is just grab it and I will just do a quick line like that, and I will just shape it how I want it. So say I want the cutout right around there. Next, what I want to do is hit select. So I'll hit that layer where my line is, select, open my menu layer again, or layer menu again, yes, and click on my stamp layer and hit clear. Go back to my line layer and uncheck it, and you'll see that now you have a cutout of your shape. And this is where I always like to work in layers just in case if I make a mistake, I don't start all over. This is where you can add a layer and write something in the middle. A fun way to add lettering cut out inside of a shape. So this is kind of like a look as if you're using real watercolor and masking fluid, and you know, you've seen them just do masking fluid in the middle and then they peel it up and do your lettering. So this is just a fun way to do it. You can do it with all of the other shapes as well, which is super fun. There's fun ways to use washes, the shapes, and doing cutouts and all that. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know. You can visit me on Instagram or message me through Etsy or even Holly Pixels, because I'm going to be uploading this set up to there as well. And make sure to tag me if you're on social media on Instagram at My Fancy Design Shop, because I would love to see your designs and your feedback. Thanks again.